you are already in your opening position, you can begin to feel your body soften into the surface, feeling those areas that are touching the surface to land heavy. Back of your pelvis, your feet. You're lying on the mat, the back of your head and your shoulders, calves. Start to follow your breath. This is an excellent time to form an intention for the practice, something that you want to be very aware of during the practice.
Susan, I can't hear you.
I can't either.
Yeah, I can't either.
Oh, good. I thought I was the only deaf one.
Thank you. Let me see if I can.
Because last week you were good and loud.
How about now? Am I good and loud now?
Yes.
Yes.
Right.
All right. I had the volume down. Sorry. Thank you for telling me.
Well, I just thought it's because I couldn't hear.
Me too.
But,
I thought
yeah.
it was me.
All right, great. I'm sorry we had to interrupt our tune in, but begin to follow your breath and perhaps form an intention for your practice today. So we're here today in our Yin Yoga practice, and the emphasis for the practice is on new beginnings. You may have noticed that the days are starting to get a little bit longer. And we've had some nice sunlight, so you can really enjoy the beautiful sunsets here. So in Buddhism, and sometimes in yoga, we talk about having beginner's mind, which means that we let go of our preconceptions of what we know or what we think we know, and we try to live in the present moment, just experiencing the freshness of the moment rather than putting some kind of a judgment or evaluation on it. So this is a new beginning, 2021. And I think a lot of us have a lot of aspirations for 2021, but we really have to be living each day with that fresh perspective that every day is a new beginning. And tomorrow we actually have a new beginning. Is it tomorrow? I think, yeah, tomorrow is the new beginning of a new presidential cycle. So let's be open to the possibilities for our country, for ourselves, for what we're capable of being and doing in this new beginning. And I invite you to take a nice full breath in, starting at the base of your belly and carrying that breath all the way up to the collarbones. Deep inhale and hold it for a few beats. And then slowly release through the mouth. And we're going to come into our first yin pose, which is going to be child's pose. So if you're lying down, you want to roll over onto your side and make your way onto your hands and knees, and then walk your buttocks back towards your heels making yourself comfortable, putting something under your knees, perhaps under your head, maybe behind your knees, whatever works for you. And if you want to do it on the chair, we're just going to do a wide-legged child pose. You're going to take your knees wide and then bring the bottoms of your feet together on the floor or on a soft surface. My floor is hard, so I'm going to put my pillow down there and rest my feet on that surface. And then you're going to come down onto your second chair. And again, I'm going to prop myself. And we're going to come down into a child's pose. Allowing the spine to round and relax. You can turn your head to one side or you can rest on your forehead, whatever feels better for you. Soften the shoulders. Relax the wrists. Relax the knees. And if the pose does not feel comfortable in any way, make any adjustments you need to make, because in yin poses, if you're tense or struggling with any joint, you're defeating the purpose of the pose. So just if you cannot soften, just back up, put more props under your torso or your legs. And just let go. Notice where you're feeling the sensations. This is a low back release. It's also a groin opener. So we're going to soften where the thigh meets the torso there. Feel the shoulder blades soften. And if you've got your head to one side, turn it to the other side. And very, very slowly come up. If you're in the chair, you're going to bring your knees together. If you're on the mat, you're going to come up onto your hands and knees. And we're going to bring our hands down and we're going to do some cat cows here. So just arch the back and drop the head and then drop the belly and lift the chin. We're just going to do that a few times to release the pose. It's the morning. We want to get some movement into the body. And then let's come back to center. And let's come all the way up and come into a seated position. So if you're on the chair, you're already seated, so that's good. If you're on the mat, when you come into your seated position, bring your legs out in front of you, straight out in front of you, or maybe opened a little bit so that the toes fall out. And then we'll place our hands behind us and we're going to lift our chest up. And you can bring your head back if you like. I don't like to. I'd like to just keep my head kind of a little forward because of arthritis, subluxations. So just lift up the chest, drop the shoulders back. Feel the ribs expand. And then release and come back to center. So I'm going to give you a couple of options for this side bend here. You can just keep your legs out in front of you. If you want to work more into your hip area, you can bring your left leg up and straighten it out to the side, and then take your right leg up and bring it on top of your left leg. Now, for most of us, there's going to be a space there. If you're on the mat, you want to fill that space, or you can bring your leg down a little bit more into a tailor fashion. If you're on the chair, you can have your legs down on the mat, or you can bring them tailor fashion onto your other chair. Just make sure there's something comfortable there. So we're going to take our left hand and bring it over to the left. On the mat, you put it on the mat or a block. On the chair, you just hold on to the edge of the chair. And we're going to, let me get my timer here, sorry. We're going to lift the right arm up and then just gently fold over to the left. In this pose, you're not really working so much on alignment, but if you can keep your shoulder and elbow and ear in alignment, that's always nice. Just trying to just soften that shoulder blade and stretch out that right side. If you find that you're bending a lot to the left, you can take your left arm and bring it out a little bit further to the side or down lower on the chair. Keep that right hip relaxed. Breathe. And then inhale, drop your arm down, your right arm down, and just come up to center. Pause here for a minute and notice the sensations. And then we'll do the other side. So we're going to bring the right arm down to the side of the chair or to the floor or onto a block, and lift that left arm up. Again, just working for good alignment, but it's not mandatory. We're reaching here. Now, if you're like me, you may notice one side is very different from the other, and honor that. If one side seems to not want to bend as much, that's okay. Just be very gentle with it. Just imagine it's moving, even if it isn't. Nice deep breaths. If you find that you're comfortable in a pose, your body will naturally start to open a little bit more. Maybe just a tiny, tiny bit today, but with repetition, it will begin to feel more comfortable as the fascia soften and take on some flexibility. Keep the hips relaxed. Nice full breaths into the belly. And very slowly drop that left arm down as you lift your torso up to the center. Lengthen out your legs, or if your legs were on the chair, bring them down to the floor. And we're just going to come a little bit forward, bring the hands behind you, and do some windshield wiper motions. Now, I do send you these tapes, so if you happen to like a pose, we're only staying in them between 1 and 3 minutes, depending on the poses. But you could always pause your machine and do it a little bit longer. Okay, so we're going to come back up, and we're going to come into that lunge pose from last week. So this is a strong pose. So if you're on the floor, you want to come up onto all fours like you're in a table pose. If you're on the chair, you're going to turn to one side, and you're going to I have my right leg, and it's kind of close to the edge of the chair. It's not towards the back, it's towards the edge. And then I'm going to take my pillow and put it down, and I'm going to drop my left knee down. Ooh, tight hamstring. And I'm going to drop it onto the floor. Now, I know Pat Stewart's really tall like me, so she may be able to get her knee down to the floor. If not, you've got your pillows and your props. Bring that knee down to the floor. So all of us are in a square lunge now. Left knee's down, right knee is straight ahead. And we're going to do that pose again for just 30 seconds. So you're going to take, if your right leg is forward, you're going to take your left arm and you're going to bring it up. And you're going to slowly tilt to the right, keeping that torso tight, pressing the top of the left foot and the sole of the right foot on the mat. We're just going to stay here for about a minute. Well, we've already been here for 30 seconds, so not much longer. Relax that shoulder. Just let it soften and kind of turn. You can look up into your elbow crease for more rotation if it works for you. If not, just look straight ahead. And then gently release that side. And now we're going to come forward. Again, if you're on a chair, you might want to move your other chair in front of you, or get a prop. If you're on the mat, you're going to bring your hands down onto the mat. And then we're going to walk that right foot out and that left foot back. Get a stretch in that left thigh. If you're on the chair, you may just want to bring your hands down to the mat. I just like that stretch. So I'm coming forward here. Just going to stay here for a minute. Dragon pose. This is the strongest yin pose, I think. Again, back off if it becomes too much. Just come back up into the square lunge. Going to be here for 15 more seconds. Relax that left hip. Yeah, Susan, easier said than done, right? Okay. And then very, very slowly walk your hands back. Walk your right foot back. Come back up into the square lunge. And we're going to switch sides. So if you're on the chair, you can just turn around and face the wall and do it, or you can go onto your other chair. So we're going to come with the left leg forward. I'm going to take the right leg back. Come into your square lunge. And then we're going to take the right arm up, lift it up, and see if you can bend it over to the left. Again, you can be, if you're forward like this, just invite your body to come up so that your ear and elbow and shoulder are in alignment. Then relax that shoulder. It doesn't have to be tense. Just feel that stretch in the ribs. Look up into your elbow crease if you want to. Come to your edge in Yin Yoga, where you get a delicious stretch. Come back up. And then we're going to come forward into the dragon pose. So you're going to bring your hands down either onto a prop, like a bolster, or your roller. You're going to walk that left foot forward if it works for you. And then you're going to come back with the right leg, get some stretch in that right leg. We'll stay here for about a minute. So in yoga, like I was saying, in a Yin Yoga, you come to your edge, which should feel like not painful. It should feel almost kind of good. Feels like you're getting a great stretch, but it's not painful in any way. Sometimes when you first start stretching, it's a little, if you do these practice poses over, like at first it'll be like, ugh, but then if you just relax, sometimes the stretch becomes comfortable. If it doesn't become comfortable, you do not want to do it. Nice deep breath. See if you can feel the breath in your belly. We've got 15 more seconds here. Sometimes the quads start to pick up a little tension. Just notice that. See if you can soften a little bit. And then very, very slowly walk those hands back. Come back up into the square lunge. And then come back to a seated position. If you're on the mat, I want you to lie down. We're going to do a little rebound here. Notice the rebound effect in your body. You're on the chair, it's the same thing. You're going to take your legs out in front of you and just open up, place your hands on your thighs, and just feel the sensations in your body from that beautiful stretch for the hips, thighs. And let's prepare for our next pose. I'm going to have a little sip of water because, as I've said before, yin poses do release a lot of toxins from the stuck stress in the joints. Okay, we are going to do a twist, a seated twist. Although if you're on the mat, I recommend on the mat, I'm going to set you up to do a recline twist, and then we're going to do a twist on the chair if you're in the chair. So if you're on the mat, lie down and draw your knees into your chest. Hug your knees into your chest. We can do that on the chair too. That'll feel good, even though it's not part of our twist. So just hug your knees into your chest. And then bring your arms out into a T if you're on the mat and take the knees over to the right. Prop your knees if you need to there to make yourself comfortable. Try to keep both shoulders on the mat. So on the chair, we're just going to keep our feet right on the surface, the floor. And then we're going to turn sideways on the chair, keeping the feet on the floor. And we're going to twist around and grab the back of the chair. This is a great twist on the chair because you really get the rotation because the hips are facing this way and the shoulders are working to face the back of the chair. Once you're in position, you're just going to soften and relax those shoulders, relax the neck and the jaw. And just feel the breath rising and falling. Massaging those internal digestive organs. Thinking about perhaps the intention. Twists are something we've been doing for a long time, beginning to look at the twist with our beginner mind. Like we've never twisted before. Soften the forehead. Soften the tops of the feet. Very, very slowly unravel from your twist. Let's pause in the center for just a bit. Here in the chair, we're just going to feel the rebound in our torso and the mat. You can lengthen out your legs. Feel that great sensation of the untwisting. And then we'll prepare to do the other side. On the mat, you're going to hug your knees into your chest. Take your arms out to your sides and take your knees over to the left. And if you want a little extra, you can bring the arms up overhead in your twist, which will get into some of those upper meridians. So on the chair, we're going to turn to the other side of the chair. Relax the feet on the mat and then bring the hands around the back of the chair. Noticing how different it feels on this side. Really squeezing those digestive organs. I think there's more of them on this side here. So.
you go.
Just 3 more deep breaths. And very slowly unravel from your twist. And we're going to come back to lying down on the mat for just a heartbeat. We're going to do some eye yoga before we close. So just pause for a moment and just notice your torso just got rinsed. Maybe with this beginner's mind, we can begin to see our physical body in a new way too. Sometimes I think we see our bodies as just like a vehicle, that gets us from here to there. Or we don't, well, I can't speak for anyone else, but sometimes I feel like I don't cherish my body as much as I could. And I'm trying to be much more mindful of the whole of me when I'm doing things now than just what my head wants to do. All right, so we're going to end with coming back up to seated. If you're lying down, roll over to your side and make your way up to seated for a moment. And we're going to do some eye yoga. It's a great little thing to do during the day. So and that and the twist we just did is a wonderful thing to do during the day. It's easy to do. You're on a chair. It just kind of gets your body opened up a little bit. So now let's prepare for our eye yoga. So we're just going to get some warmth in our palms. Rub your hands together so you feel some heat being generated in your palms. Boy, today I'm getting some good heat. And once you're nice and toasty there, you're going to place those palms over your eyes. And then gently let your fingers slide down till your fingers are over your eyeballs. And then just gently rotate the fingertips over the eyeballs. And release. I'm going to do that 2 more times. So get some heat going. Ooh, I'm on fire. With those palms on your head. Oh, that feels great. Take a nice deep breath in here and let it fall out of your mouth. And we're not going to stop and rotate. We're just going to run those fingers down now. Run them right over the eyelids and then just kind of run your finger around that little crescent under your eyes and rub your temples. And we'll do that last time. Get that heat going. Place the palms on the eyes. Relax the shoulders. And then just slide your hands over to the side and go right onto the temples this time. Take them down to the jaw, rub the jaw. And then release your hands down and prepare for the last pose of the class. Shavasana, do a short Shavasana to integrate the practice. So lie down on your mat, maybe have a sip of water. And soften.